So, well, speaking of creativity, what constitutes art? In the late 20th, or sorry, the mid-20th century, many artists have questioned this question, and they've come to a census that they don't really know what it is. It's really looking at, well, what is the artist's meaning behind it, instead of the aesthetically focusing on it. And these artists were the Dadaists. And thinking of this question kind of inspired me to form my own, being, what constitutes humor? Well, is it something as random as sending your friends the letter H? It's just something so random and weird to receive at any moment in time that when you're just talking mid-conversation and someone sends you the letter H, like my friends and I would just be talking about the two forms of knowledge, and then I would just send them this, and then I'd be like, well, why did you just send me this? And I'll be like, oh, I just sent you it because why not? And then I would just send it again, and they're like, okay. Or would comedy be something as random as memes, or like more specifically the surreal ones? Yeah, I know, you can laugh. It's really weird. Like embrace the Platonic solids, watch out for the egg boys. It's so weird and out of context that you just question it and you just ask why. And I think this is all an example of absurdism at its purest. Now, absurdism being like living in this chaotic universe and just having ridiculous or bizarre character. And if absurdism is being different is being non-conventional, well then, what is non-conventional? Well, I think we should look at talk shows. And when I ask the question of what is the typical talk show, you might think of maybe the Jimmy Kimmel show, Conan, Stephen Colbert show. They all kind of have the same structure where first they have a host saying the name of the show, and then, I don't know, it would be like a voice actor. The Jimmy Kimmel Show! I don't know, just really cool voice. And then they would kind of show city lights, they would show the guest's name, the host would come out, like wave to the audience, they would show the audience, have some music playing. Well, when I think of this question, I think of the Eric Andre show. This is a show on Adult Swim, known for its R-rated, wacky humor. You know, there's really no meaning behind any of this. And while many may think that the Eric Andre show is just a parody of a late-night talk show host, or late-night talk show, which I do agree with, I think of it as comedic perfection, that it is more, that instead of just being a late-night talk show parody, its absurdism in this show has transformed the conventions of modern humor. Now, the show can only do this with its 3-in-1 host, writer and creator, Eric Andre. He uses surprises, which I guess you guys could have seen. None of you would have expected that, unless you watch the show. And he also is very rule-breaking by not sticking to some of the rules of the Federal Communication Commission, the guys who like look over all the TV shows and movies in the U.S. He also has like this sense of liberty to do what he pleases, which kind of gives him like a sense of freedom or being an existentialist. And he also breaks societal conventions by doing almost whatever he wants and just not sticking to the same structure as a typical talk show, as you can see. And this is just a form of absurd humor. Now, what is this absurd humor, you may ask yourself? Well, don't be worried, because many articles talk about this millennial humor. And, you know, I've thought of it myself, too. While past generations may be liking sitcoms or stand-up comedy, millennials are more interested in the weird, absurd lives we live. And, well, is this a good or bad thing? You may ask yourself. Well, the things that have influenced us, such as Star Wars, Avengers, Beatles, maybe, have never been conventional. And because of this, it's helped us to free us from these societal prisons, because we see predictability in traditionalism so often in the media. Society gives us like these set of rules that we have to follow, but this absurd humor allows us to free ourselves and kind of just laugh at the simple things in our lives. And while parents, teachers, and others may be afraid of this rise in postmodernism and absurdism, there's actually a really positive force to it. This really positive force is just to kind of be different. And instead of focusing so much on just being different, you could be absurd and just know how absurd our lives really are. Yeah, I don't know, that's fun.